Pittsburgh has named their starter, Combsy. Mitchell Trubisky has officially been named starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers come week 1. So way or no way here on this Thursday edition of Man Hour Sports Talk at youtube.com/Man Hour. Way or no way, the Pittsburgh Steelers made a mistake by naming Mitchell Trubisky week 1 starter.
So, this is a tricky one for me. So, I'm going to channel my inner Wayne G on this one. And I'm going to say kind of way on this one.
Because waffle in the chat.
I don't know what Mitchell Trubisky is, right? Like, I've seen Mitchell Trubisky in a Bears uniform for 4 painful, excruciating years. I saw Mitch Trubisky in a Bears uniform. But I'm not 100% sold that wasn't all on the coach. There are all the rumors that came out after Mitchell Trubisky left about how he was handled by Matt Nagy really put Mitch Trubisky in a different light for me, right? Like, maybe he needed a change of scenery. And he even said in an interview afterwards, after he left Buffalo, said, I needed to be in a place where I was wanted like Buffalo. I needed to learn from a coaching staff that wanted to teach me like I was taught in Buffalo. And those were his exact words, which says wonders about his time and tenure in Chicago. So I think he's in a good position. I think he's got one of the best coaches of all time at his side. And I think they're going to put him in every position to succeed. But I'm not 100% sold that Mitch Trubisky can lead you into the future. As a matter of fact, the Steelers weren't even sold. That's why they only gave him a 2-year deal and then went out and drafted Kenny Pickett. So I'm not sold that he can be that guy, but he can show me. And so that's why for me it's a kind of way, right? Like, all 3 of their quarterbacks had really good preseasons. Right. All 3 of them. And Kenny Pickett looks like he's going to be the real deal. So is the next 2 years, or even maybe just this season, a highlight reel for Mitch Trubisky, a chance to showcase what he's got for other NFL teams that might be looking for a quarterback, like maybe the Miami Dolphins? You know, those types of teams that are going to be looking for a quarterback next year. Seattle Seahawks, another team that rings a bell. Looking for a quarterback of the future. Maybe a guy can showcase what he's got, even though he knows that this is probably Kenny Pickett's team, right, whether it be next year, the year after, or even halfway through this year. And it may not be because Mitch Trubisky is playing bad. Maybe he plays well and then gets injured. Kenny Pickett takes over and never relinquishes hold, right? But he can showcase, whether it's 2 weeks, whether it's 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whether it's all 17 weeks, he can showcase that he can be that guy. I don't think he's going to be that guy for the future in Pittsburgh, because I think that's Kenny Pickett. But he can be the guy for the future and can show that his tenure in Chicago was a debacle because the coaching staff was a debacle. And so that's why, for me, it's a kind of way. I don't know the answer to this until we get, I would say, probably 5 games into the season. I think by the 5th game of the season, I can tell you what Mitchell Trubisky is.
Yeah, and I can tell you that I think the Pittsburgh Steelers made the correct call on this, because I am never going to compare such and such player to said person, but Patrick Mahomes looked pretty good in the Chiefs preseason, his first year as a rookie, right? He still sat the bench behind Alex Smith. Kenny Pickett did look pretty good, but he is going to sit this year behind Mr. Trubisky, learning how to be a pro. And I think Mike Tomlin is a good enough coach. He has sat down Mr. Trubisky saying, hey, you are our guy this year, but next year it is Kenny Pickett's team. So teach him, mold him, and we will get you in a good position moving forward, or we can put you as a backup, and you can win a couple of Super Bowls with this team right here, right now. Just because when we look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, Combs, you are exactly right. Mike Tomlin is hands down probably the best coach in the NFL right now. Never had a losing season. They went 9-7-1 last season, and this year I don't see any different that they're going to have a losing season either. And Mr. Trubisky is the correct choice here because he is also the safe choice because they are literally a quarterback away. They are a game manager away to make it to the playoffs.
I hear what you're saying, and I kind of like your analogy with the whole Mitch Trubisky and Patrick Mahomes thing. Like I like where you're kind of going with that. The difference is Alex Smith was already a proven playoff caliber quarterback.
Right.
Alex Smith was already a proven winner in this league, and Andy Reid was already a proven winner in this league. And so I think that there was already that chemistry there where he had the ability to sit. Now, fast forward now to Pittsburgh, where you have Kenny Pickett, who is sitting behind Mitch Trubisky, who's not a proven to be a winning quarterback. He has gone to the playoffs twice, so you can argue that the defense took him there both times. But he is not a proven winning quarterback. He's on a shorter deal, and he's not the guy that you picked up, that you went out and got, right? Like, he's not the guy that you are married to. You went out and signed him to a 2-year deal. You signed him to be a placeholder. And not only that, you also have a coach who's I think is a better coach than Andy Reid all time already.
I agree.
And he's never had a losing season. So if you start losing, I'm not so sure he's going to afford Kenny Pickett the same opportunity that Andy Reid afforded Patrick Mahomes, because I'm not so sure he wants to ever have a losing season. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know if there's not going to be a quicker hook for Mitch Trubisky than there was for Alex Smith. So that's where in that scenario, I think it's a little bit different, but I do like where you're going with it. Like I like the idea of, hey, let's sit for a year. Let's learn underneath a guy who's been in this league for 5-6 years now. Let's learn from him. Let's see what he's got. And let's give him a chance while you're learning. Let's give him a chance to showcase what he's got for other teams, because he deserves that at least.
Right. But also on the flip side of the coin, if we look back to Alex Smith's career or tenure with the Kansas City Chiefs, Combs, he was leading them to the playoffs 13-3, 10 and like they were consistently a really, really good team. He was arguably at the pinnacle of his career. So to say, hey, Patrick Mahomes is our guy, and then traded him to Washington, and obviously we know what happened. But I think Alex Smith could have been a Super Bowl winning quarterback at Washington, honestly, just because they had everything put together and everything was looking good. So do you possibly see Mitchell Trubisky kind of doing the same platform, going to a team like Washington that, their quarterback kind of things like, who are we going to do there, right?
Yeah, like Seattle, right? I mean, Seattle is that Washington type team, right? That team that's got a pretty decent wide receiver.
Thank you for checking out that Man Hour clip. Be sure to hit the subscribe and like button and below, and of course share us with a couple friends. But if you like what you just saw, click right here to check out our latest video, and of course click right here to subscribe. And as always, Man Hour Nation, rise up.